Picture this. It's 1:43 in the morning. The room is dark, except for the faint glow of her phone lighting up her face. You're lying beside her, staring at the ceiling, pretending to be asleep. She's only inches away from you, but it feels like she's somewhere else. Somewhere you can't reach. Somewhere you're no longer invited. She still says she loves you. She still sends heart emojis. She still introduces you as her man. But when you look into her eyes, something is missing, that spark, that hunger, that electricity that once made you feel chosen. And you feel it in your chest before you can explain it with logic. Something has shifted. You remember the beginning, the way she used to look at you like you were rare, the way her voice softened when she said your name, the way her body leaned into yours like it belonged there. Back then, you didn't question your value. You felt powerful, desired, irreplaceable. Now you feel safe, comfortable, predictable. And brother, predictable does not ignite passion. The most painful words a man can hear are not "I hate you." They are softer than that, more polite, more controlled. "I love you, I'm just not in love with you." That sentence doesn't explode, it suffocates. It makes you question everything, your effort, your loyalty, your masculinity. You start replaying memories like evidence in a courtroom, trying to locate the moment it all began to fade. You ask yourself where you went wrong. But here's the truth most men never hear. You didn't lose her because you loved too little. You lost the spark because you became too available, too certain, too safe. Attraction does not live in certainty. It lives in tension. In the beginning, she didn't fully know you. You had mystery. You had edges. You had your own world. She wondered about you. She felt that subtle emotional uncertainty that made her heart race. Her brain was flooded with dopamine, the chemical of anticipation and desire. Every text from you felt exciting. Every glance felt electric. But over time, you gave her complete emotional security. You responded instantly. You reassured constantly. You adjusted your life around her. You thought that was love. And it is love. But desire operates on a different system. Love is comfort. It's oxytocin. It's bonding and familiarity. It makes her feel safe. Desire is dopamine. It's unpredictability. It's challenge. It's the fear of losing something valuable. When she no longer fears losing you, when she becomes certain that you will always be there no matter what, dopamine declines. And when dopamine declines, the fire slowly dims. This is not cruelty. It is biology. It is programming older than both of you. Every woman, deep in her nervous system, is wired to respond to strength and emotional stability, not emotional dependency. When your mood begins to depend on her validation, when your world shrinks around her presence, when you start chasing reassurance instead of standing grounded, something shifts in her perception. She may still respect you, she may still care deeply, but she no longer feels that tension that once pulled her toward you. And tension, my friend, is the invisible thread that keeps desire alive. You start noticing small things. She scrolls more while you talk. She stops initiating touch. She seems distracted when you're together. Arguments feel colder, not passionate. Intimacy feels routine instead of urgent. You feel the distance. So you try harder. You give more. You plan more. You reassure more. You become softer, more accommodating, more agreeable. You think if you love her harder, the spark will return. But attraction is not negotiated through effort. It responds to value, and value in the psychology of desire increases with self-containment, with independence, with a man who chooses love, not one who clings to it. When you become afraid to lose her, you subconsciously communicate that she is the prize and you are the pursuer. And in the silent market of attraction, the one who needs more holds less power. That's the part no one teaches men. Relationships are not just about affection. They are also about polarity, about contrast, about the balance between safety and strength. When you become only comfort without edge, only reassurance without backbone, only availability without mystery, you become emotionally safe but no longer emotionally stimulating. And stimulation is what the brain craves. Modern life makes this even harder. Social media floods the brain with novelty, endless faces, endless attention, endless options, dopamine everywhere. When her brain is constantly exposed to new stimuli, your stable presence can start to feel ordinary. And ordinary does not compete with novelty. So what do? You don't beg. You don't accuse. You don't try to logically convince her to feel desire again. You return to yourself. You rebuild your discipline, your body, your focus, your mission. You stop orbiting around her and start centering your L on purpose again. You reduce emotional overexposure. You create space without hostility. You become calm instead of reactive. And something powerful happens when a man becomes calm in the face of emotional distance. Curiosity returns. Respect returns. Sometimes even desire returns, not because you manipulated her, but because you restored polarity. You reminded her nervous system what it felt like to be with a man who is grounded, self-sufficient, and not emotionally fragile. Brother, understand this deeply. If she loves you but isn't in love with you, it does not mean you are unworthy. It means somewhere along the way, you abandoned parts of yourself in the name of love. You traded mystery for reassurance, strength for comfort, independence for attachment, and comfort without contrast becomes numbness. The solution is not becoming cold, it is becoming whole. Love her, but do not lose yourself. Choose her, but do not need her to define you. Stand grounded in who you are, whether she stays or leaves. Because the truth is this: a woman stays in love with a man who makes her feel safe, but she stays in desire with a man who makes her feel something. Be both. And never forget, the moment you stop chasing validation and start embodying value is the moment everything changes. It's late at night, the room is quiet, and she's lying next to you, but it feels like there's an ocean between your bodies. She says she loves you. She still answers your calls. She still shows up. But something in her eyes has changed. The warmth is softer, the spark is weaker, and you can feel it in your chest before you can explain it in words. She loves you, but she's not in love with you. And that difference, my friend, is the silent battlefield where most men lose without ever knowing the war started. You were taught that love is built on loyalty, effort, consistency. That if you show up every day, if you become stable and safe and emotionally available, she will remain deeply attracted to you. But attraction is not sustained by comfort alone. Love and desire operate on different systems inside the brain. Love is attachment, it is oxytocin, it is familiarity, safety, routine. Desire is dopamine, it is anticipation, it is uncertainty, it is the emotional spike of not fully knowing. When you remove uncertainty, when you remove tension, when you become completely predictable, dopamine declines. And when dopamine declines, the fire slowly fades. At the beginning, she didn't fully under you. You had mystery. You had your own mission. You had edges. She wondered about you. She felt that subtle anxiety of not being fully certain. Her brain was stimulated. Her emotions were engaged. But over time, you gave more and more reassurance. You made yourself fully available. You adjusted your world around her. You thought that was devotion. In her nervous system, it slowly became normal, and what becomes normal loses intensity. This is not cruelty. It is hedonic adaptation. The brain gets used to stimulation and stops reacting to it with the same excitement. You start noticing small shifts. She doesn't initiate intimacy like she used to. Her hugs feel polite instead of electric. She scrolls her phone while you talk. Conversations revolve around logistics instead of dreams. She says she's tired more often. She needs space. She becomes emotionally distant but still technically present. That's the most confusing part. If she hated you, it would be easier. But she doesn't hate you. She cares about you. She just doesn't feel that surge of desire anymore. Every woman is biologically programmed to respond to strength and emotional stability. For thousands of years, survival depended on choosing a man who could handle pressure, who did not crumble, who had options. When you become overly dependent on her validation, when your mood rises and falls based on her behavior, when your world shrinks around her, her subconscious reads that as emotional weakness, not kindness, not devotion, weakness. And weakness in the psychology of attraction lowers perceived value. Most men react to this shift by trying harder. They give more attention, they become more agreeable, they over-communicate, they over-apologize, they attempt to negotiate desire with logic. But attraction is not logical, it is reactive. It responds to energy, not explanations. When she senses that you are afraid to lose her, she stops fearing the loss of you. And the absence of that subtle fear eliminates tension. Without tension, desire collapses into comfort. Comfort feels safe, but comfort without polarity becomes emotional stagnation. Modern culture amplifies this problem. Social media floods the brain with novelty. Endless options, endless validation, endless comparison. The dopamine system is overstimulated daily. When she scrolls through new faces, new personalities, new attention, her brain becomes accustomed to constant stimulation. If you are fully predictable and always available, you cannot compete by becoming softer. You compete by becoming grounded, by having a mission, by having direction beyond the relationship, by maintaining emotional self-containment. This does not mean playing games. It does not mean manipulation. It means retaining yourself. When you abandon your hobbies, your goals, your physical discipline, your social world, and make her the center of your existence, she feels the weight of that dependence. An attraction cannot survive under emotional weight. It survives in the presence of calm strength. A man who loves deeply but does not cling. A man who chooses her but does not need her to define him. A man who could walk away if respect disappears. If she loves you but is not in love with you, it is often because somewhere along the way you traded mystery for security, edge for reassurance, polarity for comfort. You became safe but static, reliable but predictable, present but emotionally exposed. And static energy does not create electricity. Electricity requires contrast. It requires two different poles. Masculine and feminine energy thrive on that contrast. When you soften into pure comfort without maintaining grounded independence, that polarity weakens. The solution is not anger. It is not control. It is not emotional withdrawal out of spite. It is self-restoration. You return to your body. You rebuild discipline. You limit over-availability. You stop chasing reassurance. You allow silence without panic. You focus on your purpose. And paradoxically, when you detach from desperation, attraction often has space to breathe again. When she senses that you are emotionally centered and not governed by fear, curiosity can return. Respect can return. Desire can reignite. Brother, this is the bitter truth most men discover too late. Love alone is not enough to sustain passion. Comfort alone is not enough to maintain fire. You must be both safe and slightly unpredictable, loving and self-contained, present and independent. When you understand that attraction is maintained by who you are, not how much you give, you stop fighting for love through effort and start embodying value through presence. She may still love you, but if you want her to feel in love with you again, you cannot beg for that feeling. You must become the man whose energy naturally evokes it. A man grounded in himself. A man not afraid of loss. A man who loves from strength, not fear. And when you become that man, whether she stays or leaves, you no longer lose you in the process. And that, my friend, is the real victory. Brother, listen carefully. She may still love you. She may still care about you. She may even still say all the right words. But if she's not in love with you, it is not a failure. It is a signal. A signal that somewhere along the way, comfort replaced tension, predictability replaced mystery, and your emotional independence was compromised. This is not about manipulation. It is not about control. It is about reclamation. Reclaim your mission, your focus, your body, and your purpose. Rebuild your life so that you stand firm in your own gravity, calm and unshakable, no longer orbiting around validation. When you stop chasing love and start embodying value, you do not just regain her attention, you regain yourself. Desire is not won through effort alone, but through presence, strength, and the subtle power of a man who could walk away but chooses to stay. This is your awakening. The moment you understand that attraction follows strength, respect follows self-possession, and love flourishes when it is chosen, not begged for. Stand tall, brother, and let your life be the magnet that naturally draws the fire back to you.